everyone, I'm Rosie and this is Flying Flusky.
And we can you and me together, and we can you and me forever.
I don't know when my mic died, but my mic died. So again, you're going to hear my echoey flat rather than my dulcet tones. If you've been here before, welcome back. It's so nice to see you again. And if you're new, hello, my name's Rosie and I'm currently taking tirzepatide, known here in the UK as Mounjaro. And it is pretty much the basis of this entire weight loss journey. Mounjaro is one of the drug names for tirzepatide. It's known as Mounjaro here in the UK, or in the US if it's being used for diabetes. Over there, if you're using it just for weight loss, it is called Zepbound. This is my 3-month update or 12-week update. Obviously, they don't entirely match up perfectly, but you know what I mean. I remember in my first video, I said I couldn't really afford to be on the medication, and I was like, oh, we'll be on it like 1, 2, 3 months max. Well, welcome to 3 months max, and I'm still going. Someone messaged and said that I completely forgot to actually tell you how much weight I lost in the last video, which is so true. I watched it back and I was like, oh no, I just said whoosh a lot. So that whoosh was 5 pounds. Obviously, because I hadn't lost any weight in the week before, that averaged out at 2.5 pounds a week. The last 2 weeks has absolutely flown by. Like I was checking the calendar to make sure I wasn't going crazy, that it was actually only last week that I put the last video up, but no, a fortnight like that. How am I feeling and have I had any side effects? Well, this is going to be a very boring section because actually I've been absolutely fine. Definitely still fatigued the day of or the day after the injection, so I have to have a nap. But other than that, nothing really GI related. I did have like a 30-second headache on jab day last week, but that passed, like I said, in half a minute and by itself. Other than that, I've been absolutely fine, which is not a bad thing. Just let me clarify. I am very happy that my body is getting used to this and not sending me running for a bathroom or anything like that. I dread the day that I experience that constipation everyone talks about properly, which is why I'm glugging water for the gods. In week 11, we had a couple of events over the weekend. So the first was a friend's birthday party here in London, and we didn't want to turn up empty-handed, so we got a couple of bits and bobs to take to their house. I was wondering how I was going to react to squashies, because they are my favourite sweet treat. I could demolish a packet of squashies in a heartbeat, and if you don't know what they are, they're like the flavours of a drumstick lolly, but in kind of a squashy, foamy sweet. But so I thought, okay, we'll get a big bag of squashies to take with, and I can have one. And I had one and it was fine, but it didn't need me to have another one or really excite me at all, which was weird. We'd been to my mum's house the previous week and I'd had probably a couple of sips too many of Prosecco. I had the equivalent of 2 large glasses, and that made me feel really sick all the way home on the train. So even though, again, the drinks were kind of free-flowing at this party, I had 1 Aperol Spritz and then that was it. Then I switched on to soft drinks, just because I didn't want to feel terrible, because we were then going to go and get the train up to Nottingham. In Nottingham, we went for brunch with some friends, and I just had, what did I have? Poached eggs on toast, which was very nice. Carl was sad that his breakfast didn't come with toast, so I moved both my eggs onto one piece. It was like thick sourdough, and then gave him my other one, which was just the right amount of food, and obviously 2 eggs, plenty of protein. Then we went for a wander, and I had, again, 1 drink when we stopped at a bar where everyone was ordering drinks. And I think that's kind of where I'm sitting. I know I was going to talk about alcohol a bit more generally the other week, as I was still definitely able to drink as I would normally. But in the last, I would say, 3 weeks, it's become clear that I can have about a drink and a half. I did have a couple of comments. The first was that alcohol is linked to pancreatitis when it's drunk with GLP-1s. I think that is a very fair point, and they are definitely doing more studies into pancreatitis and GLP-1s, so I'd be really interested to find out if that is directly linked. And the other person said that I should stop drinking alcohol if I want to lose weight. Yes, I see your point. That is a good general weight loss tip. But I don't really drink that much. Like, we don't drink at home, we don't drink every day. It's definitely a social thing, or like when you're out for dinner. So I'm not going to stop drinking, but I am going to kind of parcel out that amount of alcohol throughout the night rather than necking my first glass thanks to social anxiety and then starting proper. I'm just going to sip a little bit and we'll see how we go. I have a party coming up tomorrow, and obviously with the sun being out, it's nice to have a drink in a pub garden every so often. But yeah, it's definitely less on my diet than it used to be, but it's not because I'm gonna lose weight by giving up alcohol, because I'm losing weight anyway. Spoilers. I'm starting on my next lot of 5 milligrams. When I joined Juniper, I decided not to change because it seems to be doing quite well. I realized basically yesterday, it was Wednesday, and I was quite hungry, and I was like, oh, that means it's Thursday tomorrow, which is odd. This week I'm listening to the movie soundtrack of Wicked. I still don't know if I prefer it, but I have to learn all those new things, because if I'm in public and I'm singing the old one, well, that's just awkward. Oh, this one's not very enthusiastic, only the teeniest, tiniest drop. For you know that's how you want me to respond. Yes. Let's just say I love it all. Okay. I'm gonna sit down again. I don't know how I was so brave the last time. I'd had a margarita or two. I've been stood here for about 3 minutes. A stingy one going in again this time, but the plunge bit didn't hurt. I think the nerves make it worse. I think when I'm scared, it makes it psychosomatically more stingy. I've got a few errands to run, but not massive amounts, so I can come and crash out if I feel fatigued or anything. I mean, I keep hoping that I won't, but so far every day or day after, I've had to have a sneaky nap. But I mean, if that's the worst of it, that's fine, right? Let's head back to the sofa, and then maybe you'll see if I'm braver next week. Week 12 has been even quieter. We've just been going to work a lot. Nothing out of the ordinary happening, to be honest. How dull. There was a big event in London on Saturday, which normally I would be drinking all day at, but I accidentally swapped onto a shift. So instead of a very long boozy day, with usually lots of steps, to be fair, I was just at work and had FOMO, and it was a tough few days at work. It was very draining, so I didn't really feel up for the partying afterwards, so I just came home and went to bed. Literally going through my phone to find if I've been stupid and forgotten anything, and no, we haven't done anything. What I have had this last week is some sweet treats. So after, well, almost 3 months of being scared of ice cream, because ice cream in general can give me a bad tummy, I finally caved and had a cornetto out of the freezer because it has been warm outside. I had, what was it? Coconut and mango, something like that. And I ate it and I was absolutely fine, which was lovely. And also one was perfectly sufficient. You know how it can be when you've got ice creams in your freezer? Sometimes two hits the spot. But no, one was fine. I still wouldn't trust myself with Mars ice creams. I've definitely eaten a whole box of Mars ice creams. But then so does my mum, and she's a healthy bunny. They're just so bloomin' Moorish. The other thing I had was a Kit Kat, like the whole four finger Kit Kat, which is the first time I've eaten a whole chocolate bar since I've started this, I think. I helped someone at work, like I said, a bit of a crazy weekend, a passenger, and he came back and he gave me some chocolates. He gave me 2 big bags of like shareable, what were they, Reese's and Eclairs. So obviously I shared those with everyone. But there was something about the Kit Kat that was calling to me, so I decided to have it. And oof, it was sweet. Normally, having a bar of chocolate is the downfall of a diet for me because the next day I'll crave it again. But this, no, I was perfectly fine and I haven't had any chocolate since, and that was maybe 5 days ago. So this thing really is working some magic. It's obviously not just me that has this kind of heightened sweetness going on. There was a lovely lady called Caroline who just commented. She said, "Yes, I have issues with certain foods and drinks tasting far too sweet for me now, even some types of strawberries. I also have a full tub of vanilla Supreva that even a pinhead of it tastes like a bowl of sugar." Now that sounds real extreme to me. I definitely can eat strawberries. I have been eating them nearly every day for breakfast, actually. Um, but I get it. Like things that, 4 months ago I would just demolish without even noticing. Now it is really heightened. Like, when you eat too much chocolate and it feels kind of sickly in your throat? That was me after that one Kit Kat. And my mum has a real not sweet tooth, and I wonder if this is how she feels all of the time. I'm definitely eating sweet things still, like my chewy vitamins are gummies because I'm a child. I'm still having the occasional Diet Coke, but you know what? There is a limit to how much of those things I can have. There is definitely a link between GLP-1s and your sweetness receptors. It's one of the things it acts on. So although when you're normally on a diet, things taste sweeter, um, just because you're not having them so often, this is actually to do with your medication. So if you're tasting things really, really sweetly, maybe it means you're a super responder. I wonder if it's directly correlated. Right, let's head to the bathroom and do this week's injection and then come back. I'm on my second dose from my second 5 milligram pen, and I'm listening to what in the UK is probably a lesser known musical called 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, which is one of my absolute favourites. I'm doing my jab and then we're going for a walk. But the nerves are kicking in now. Well, there we go. That one's a bit more enthusiastic than last week. Bit of sanitising spray on my tummy. And someone said you've got to make sure it's properly dry. So now I'm going to waft like I'm a bake-off contestant. I wonder if this gets more painful as your tummy gets less fatty. What do you do? I guess you've got to rely more on your arms and your thighs. I'm saying I wouldn't stand a chance if this looked like a real actual needle rather than this kind of pen contraption. Which is why if I golden dose, it has to be the method that still uses this. Anyway, I'm procrastinating. See you in a second. Okay, that one was really easy and really painless, probably because I got it out of the fridge a while ago and then forgot that I had done so. So it was a lot more like room temperature than it normally is for me. We live in a really hot flat. I might have said this already, I'm not sure. But it's really hard to cool our flat down, which means when it's 30 degrees outside, it's not far off in here. So normally I don't like to keep it out of the fridge for too long. But you know what? The way that feels, and when I'm on my last dose and I get it out of the fridge well ahead of time, it might be the way forward. I just don't want to mess up the medication, This bad boy's going in the sharps bin, this bad boy's going in the regular bin, and we are going back to the front room. Let's do weigh-ins, measurements, and progress pics. So at the end of week 11, yes, at the end of week 11, I weighed in at 143.5 pounds, which is pleasingly 10 stone 3.5 pounds, and about bang on 65 kilograms. So that's about 2.5 pounds down in week 11. Then at the end of week 12, I ended at 141 pounds, which is about 10 stone 1, or about 64 kilograms. So again, that was about 2.5 pounds down. So over the last month, I have lost an average of 2.5 pounds a week, which is incredible. Next, I'll pop up my progress pictures. I can't remember which side is which, but I'm going to put up the original one and then how it's going. I can definitely see it more now than I could in the last lot, and obviously definitely more than the previous ones. I cannot wait not to have those rolls on my back. But I tell you what, even at a size 8, they are still kind of there because I have a real short torso. I feel like I don't really have any room for anything to go anywhere else. Finally are the measurements, and everything is just a teeny bit lower than it was last month, so that is really good. I've lost 11 centimeters around my waist and 18 centimeters around my tummy, which I am thrilled about because they are my biggest problem areas, and that's from the beginning, by the way, not from last month, just to clarify. But that seems significant. I'm quite proud of that. Since the beginning, I've lost 9 centimeters around my bum and hips, so I'm probably well on my way to getting a Ozempic bum. So I should probably do some squats, as I've said every week so far. Goals for week 13 and 14. I've definitely like to try and integrate some of the small exercise programs they have on the Juniper app into my days. I don't know how often. I think it will probably be temperature dependent because, like I said, it is hot in here. But if I get out of bed early enough, it won't be. So that's the other thing, is to get out of bed and not just lie in bed hoping to go back to sleep and scrolling the internet, because I have done far too much doom scrolling recently rather than getting up and doing anything productive. The other goals are to get back on my water intake because I think I've been slacking on that a little bit. I haven't been paying a lot of attention, which means that I probably haven't had enough. Like I said, back on it. And to dip below the 10 stone mark. Like, I don't normally have weight goals, but I just want to see a new starting number on the scales. That would be very cool. And that makes it feel like the end is in sight. Thank you to everyone who's watched this videos and my other videos, and especially if you subscribed. We have just hit 1,000 subscribers, which is insane. After 10 years of talking about starting a YouTube channel, we finally got ourselves together and started it in September. Obviously, it's mainly to do with travel, but the Mounjaro journey, I think, is kind of all part of that as well. It's personal growth, personal shrinkage. I don't know. But I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone. Don't forget, you can always drop me a comment on here or find me on Instagram at Flying Flosky or Mounjaro Miss. DM me there if you want a sneaky referral code to MedExpress or Juniper. I will see you in 2 weeks, possibly with Carl, because I thought it'd be fun to talk to him about what it's like to be married to someone on Mounjaro when you are not. But we'll see if I can rope him into it. Until then, whatever you're up to, keep up the good work.
I see you.